all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. Boring. Boring.
You gotta work. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. That's exactly what you're doing. You're in no position to dictate what we're gonna feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Welcome. I'm Lembit Öpik here on Lembit Öpik Live, which is live on Unprecedented TV. So glad you could join us for a review of the week. We've decided to try and do that, looking back at the week that was, with a great guest. I've got Marilyn Hawes with me today. You'll see her in just a minute. Thank you very much indeed. If you have subscribed already, please, if you haven't subscribed, do go to Unprecedented TV, the YouTube, and subscribe. It helps us. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a huge amount. Also, just remember, we've got tons of other shows coming up, including the return of Tim Scott. He's been on global travels. Now he's back with extra wisdom for Tim Scott Uncancelled. Of course, he's the supremo of the Freedom Association, a very bold and libertarian group which defends your right to think for yourself. And I know that's a bit of a rare commodity these days. We'll be coming to that in the discussion today. Also, remember that Claire Dyer is knocking out some great shows, and she tends to take local issues of national interest. If you're watching this live, in fact, there's a demonstration in Biggin Hill, which she's organizing against various things. So that's happening tomorrow. I'm going to try and go along myself, but I'm not sure if I can yet. So Claire Dyer, who is an absolute live wire, her archive is definitely worth watching because her subjects have a shelf life. They don't go off. They're more like honey than cream. Apparently, honey never really goes off. You can eat honey from the ancient Egyptian pyramids, apparently, though it would be way past its sell-by date. And probably these days, the over-conscientious explorer would throw it in the bin. Don't do that. It's worth a lot of money. One other thing, if you've got thoughts about what you'd like us to cover, then do let us know. We're always looking at ideas, and we're always in negotiation with new concepts. Ever closer comes Good Morning USA, which will be a topical news program daily, run at about 0900 Eastern Standard Time. So that's 9 a.m. in New York. That's what I think is going to be the time for that show. Though I leave it to my wonderful colleague, Sarah Evie Clark, based in Dallas, to tell us what time she thinks we should do it. It'll be 8 o'clock for her in Dallas. Anyway, all of that is nothing compared to the excitement I've been introducing our guest today. It's Marilyn Hawes. Marilyn, good to see you. You're laughing already.
Well,
your blood sugar level seems to be better than mine then.
I don't know why, because there's not a lot laughed about, really. So, I mean, to be honest, everything's falling apart in the UK, isn't it? It's just not good. Not good.
It is a disaster. I wake up in the mornings thinking, what has happened to this country? It's a real disaster.
I quite agree. And you sort of say, I don't think I can ever remember a time where you get up in the morning and you think, dare I watch the news? At lunchtime, it's changed again. Evening, it's changed again. And you think you go through the day with this awful dread. And yet, it's weirdly compelling. Do you want to make yourself depressed? No, but you got to keep abreast, don't you? Of sort of how stupid can these numpties be? Quite honestly, I mean, they just don't have a clue.
Let's start with the numpty of the week inquiry for me. That's the COVID inquiry. They've reported too little, too late. COVID inquiry highlights failures by UK's 4 governments, and this 800-page inquiry says, they could have done more. And here's the weird thing: we should have done more. We should have locked down people earlier. There isn't a word about the fact that maybe those are words because I haven't read the whole thing, but there isn't an emphasis, certainly on the reportage in the mainstream, that actually, if we just let the disease run its course, then we'd have been in the same place as Sweden. Similar death rate without wrecking our economy and without wrecking children's education.
Exactly, and creating all sorts of sort of issues with people. I went to Bermuda after lockdown, and they really suffered over there because the black community are very sort of into each other, helping each other out, hugging and all that sort of stuff, and they really suffered like with their mental health afterwards. And I said at the time, I don't know why we don't do this herd immunity. It was ridiculous. I think it was ridiculous, but the horse is bolted. It's left the blooming stable. So what's the point in talking about what we should have done? I mean, no one really knew what to do. So I mean, I feel quite sorry for Boris Johnson actually, because
really?
Well, I just think, is he personally responsible for all those deaths? Really?
I'm not sure he is. And when you see these anodyne mainstream media hypocrites, I'll come to say that in a minute, saying, do you apologize? Wasn't it just one person responsible? People can understand Latin, they bloody well understand the label. Yeah, so he's got all this bombast going on, but I've just tweeted on this morning. He broke the lockdown.
Oh, and
he didn't take it seriously. This is my problem, man. You've got all these po-faced, pompous asses in politics who say you've got to lock down. You can't see your gran. You can't see your neighbors. It's a criminal offense to go and fly a kite with somebody else's kid in the park. But then they're having their parties. Well, that's what I hate, Marilyn.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But then it's always the same with politicians, isn't it? And I know you were one, but I mean, it's always a different rule for them. I think they breathe different oxygen, quite honestly. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to say that. Different oxygen. That's right. Yeah, that's special sort of COVID-proof oxygen, so they can all sit around in Downing Street with a suitcase full of booze. That doesn't apply to us.
They've also got a PhD in avoidance, I think, as well. The avoidance of the truth. I think they suffer from that as well, don't they? Whoops! I mean, people, you can't believe what I've got here. I'm trying to balance this camera.
I'm wondering what you're doing. I just suddenly saw red. I know I'm angry, but I'm not that angry. This will make you angry. There she is. There's little what's it called? Nicola Sturgeon, who's been accused of certain misled Scottish public with zero COVID claim. Scotland's former leader was wrong to suggest virus was almost defeated during pandemic inquiry. Well, that wasn't really my issue. She's just turned out to be just a bad one as far as I'm concerned. And once again, she absolutely mistreated somebody who I was very close to, and that was Alex Salmon.
Oh, yeah.
He was a lovely guy, absolutely lovely guy. And there's this woman that's self-satisfied, opportunistic. So it seems to, she was accused of stuff, but doesn't seem to have gone anywhere. But all of this sanctimony, and I know where I lived, everybody was in the gardens. There was social mixing. There wasn't really lockdown. The people who locked down were people like my mum, who were terrified. And so they spent a lot of the last years of their lives alone.
Yes.
And I thought that was awful. I saw a lot of her on a screen, but I didn't physically meet her until the last weeks of her life. All because of this. Yeah, and she didn't die of COVID. She died of, I would say, partly solitude.
I think that is true. I think you see it with old people that, they need human connection. That the older they need it, and that's why they're lonely. You go to your doctor's surgery and you see little old people coddling in, and you think, who's looking after you? Who's fighting your corner for you? And they must have been terrified. They must have been terrified to go out and all the rest of it. Who did their shopping for them? I mean, I live in this village with the octogenarians. And we did loads of stuff to keep them sort of sane, really. I mean, it was just so sad, and people that I think awful when people died and you couldn't go see them. It was dreadful, and babies that were born, and young parents, first time parents, they need connection with their own parents and what have you, and friends and what have you. And to have your first baby in lockdown, you haven't got a clue what you're doing.
We had our second baby in lockdown.
I mean, and the depression that probably caused for a lot of young mums, and babies who are, their natural thing is to communicate with people in the human race, and then suddenly after about a year there's people coming in the house where there never were before. They must have been frightened.
Unless, of course, you're a politician, in which case you have the special oxygen. The special oxygen. They'd like to have some magic tea, which they can have some special Boris tea. Which immunizes me.
It's amazing how
hypocrisy.
They justify how they can justify, but they're always going to be found out. I always remember my mum saying, the truth will out, Marilyn. The truth will always come out. There's no point in lying, because the truth will come out. And I think the media are so good. If they get a sniff of something not being right, you're going to come in for a bruising, because they'll come after you, and so they should. Except the good news is, our Prime Minister Keir Starmer's no hypocrite. He never violated the lockdown. Hold the front page. There we are. Footage shows Starmer drinking beer with colleagues during campaigning. Oh, apparently campaigning makes you immune as well. And then he wasn't prosecuted by Durham police. But for crying out loud. Come on, seriously, the difference is, I was campaigning, and viruses know the difference between a lazy person and a Tory and somebody like me. The viruses would stay away from him out of shame of being associated with Keir Starmer. Honestly, what virus would infect the most unpopular Prime Minister in history? Yeah, well, absolutely. But I mean, and with Dominic Cummings as well. But didn't he go? He went to some castle or something to do with his. What is that excuse he used? He was
Barnard Castle, I think it was.
Yeah,
he drove there to see if his eyesight was good enough to drive. Come on! It's like they obviously didn't give a toss about their own advice. That's the only way to interpret it. And then, of course, this is what I mentioned when I mentioned hypocrisy. This is the most unforgivable thing. We had Hugh Edwards, obey the lockdown, obey the rules. And now we know he was doing all he could to break the rules in a most nefarious fashion. There he is, the face of the BBC, telling us to lock down while he's inviting young men to spend time with him.
I term him as a grubby little toad. Horrible man. Horrible.
It wasn't toad flu. Maybe that's why he's immune. Oh, I'm a toad. I'm a toad. Therefore, it cannot affect me. Nor can bird flu. You obey the lockdown while I hop off and make some new friends. This is the problem. We got problems. And that's what this inquiry hasn't been about. I actually think it's a conspiracy almost, this inquiry.
What the inquiries are like. I mean, you've only got to. I was involved with the ICSA inquiry, the independent inquiry for the child sexual abuse that went on with Alexa Gay. Yeah. And there's another one, you see. I mean, there's about 3 pages about the gangs and sexual exploitation of young girls. And they're all belly aching now that, we don't need another. Yes, we do need another inquiry, because that part of it was not looked into. It wasn't looked into. And so, I feel really strongly about that. And at the time when it came out, and I went down there to sort of look after, helping some of the victims. And, they did a good job on. Oh my golly, I'm so sorry. A good job.
It's like you're living in an earthquake.
No,
it's like that measured 8.5 in the Richter scale there. You don't give our viewers the impression that you have a highly professional studio. Here's me in Dubai.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, with a decent studio. That part's true. And there's you balancing, I suspect, your mobile phone on a book or a cup of tea.
No, worse than that. My mobile phone is balancing on an upturned vase.
Okay, well, it wasn't far off. Come on. No, that's a bit pedantic.
with the ICSA inquiry. I mean, it was shocking, really. And at the time, I thought, well, you're right. Yeah, you've really done a good job on the churches, the schools, what have you. But this little bit was just not covered enough. And I thought, that's just not, that is suspicious. And of course, we didn't want to do too much with it, did we? Because, we might be racist. Oh, the Pakistani word would have to come out, the Islam and, all that stuff. And they tried to avoid it. And there's no point in saying we don't need this inquiry. Yes, we do, because it wasn't covered properly. And the excuse that they're using, of course, is, well, we didn't know then what we were dealing with. Yes, you did. You've known for 30 years that if somebody had got their arse in gear 30 years ago, we would not have the problem we've got now. And that's true.
And 200,000 young, children wouldn't have been raped, basically.
But the thing is, it's still happening. That's what's so, upsetting. Is it's not like that was then, because it's also now.
Well, back to the mainstream media once again. Hugh Edwards, reporting on stuff, and then we discover that he has Class A pornography, which I won't even describe. The worst imaginable thing you could see.
All you want to do, or anybody wants to go and do their own research, it's called the Copine Scale, COPINE. And if you research the Copine Scale and you look at category A, you'll be able to find out how revolting it is. So
we've got these people who are lecturing us to be locked down while they're trying to break the lockdown themselves, actually locking down themselves, and then not locking down themselves. And then we just got these clowns. There's Kemi Badenoch. She didn't do the best job, I thought, at the weekend, but at the sub PMQs. But look at the three of them. There they are. Hold that. Basically, the three amigos. Those three people.
It's like the three wise monkeys, isn't it?
But the difference is those monkeys are wise. What we've got here is we've got Keir Starmer and those people. Look at them.
I've only got
David Lammy, Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, with a combined IQ, which just isn't enough. It's just not enough. Go on.
No, I've never seen anyone age so much in a year. It's Rachel Reeves, and that's because she is not up for the job. And here we go. She lied on her CV. Anybody else lied on their CV, they'd get the sack, wouldn't they? And she's not up to it. That's the trouble. The stress on her because she can't do the job is incredible. But I do. Look at that clown Lammy. Honest to goodness me. I think McDonald's going to hire him actually and do him up as a clown. I just look at them and my blood boils.
Look at him. Look at him there. He's confused. He's always confused. The man who complained that the BBC was being racist when it said of the Vatican when they were choosing a pope, it remains to be seen if the smoke is black or white.
I know.
And he had to apologize because he didn't know that black meant no decision, white meant decision. That's the deputy prime minister.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. You couldn't make it up, could you? If it was anything else, it would make a very good series of a comedy, wouldn't it? Really, if it wasn't so serious, it's actually comedic.
Yeah, it's tragic. These people are running our country.
It is tragic because I worry that we've got another 3 years of these geezers, and you think, what is the damage they're doing? Is it going to be reversible? Are they, like they've, it is like a Marxist state, like parents now have got to have legally, haven't they? They've got to have their children inoculated.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And yet, how many, dare I say it, how many illegals are coming in here with every sort of God-given disease on the planet that, that they're bringing into the country? What about them?
No, because they got special oxygen.
Oh, of course.
And they got prime ministerial tea. Welcome to the country. Have one of these. You'll be fine. This is the problem. They don't count. During the lockdown, I had to keep traveling, and eventually I was still traveling, but it was quite difficult. But at the beginning, there was no restriction, so you had to sit at home, not seeing Granny. But 10,000, 100,000 people a day could come in through the airports.
Exactly.
Before we go any further, let me just remind you, we've got Tim Scott. He's come back from his travels. Tim Scott on campus. He's been away and he's back again. So Tim Scott uncancelled. You'll get a whole bunch of great new shows from him, but no one better when it comes to free speech than my guest today, Marilyn Hawes from Freedom of Abuse, Chief Executive Officer. Let's see if we can get a few other stories in. We actually dwelt on that one a bit longer than I thought. From one clown to another one, literally, we got a man who actually is a professional clown. That's his job. That's his profession. And he thought that qualified him to run a war. Zelensky to negotiate with Trump over US-Russia peace deal requiring painful concessions. The Ukrainian president's office issued statements after other officials condemned the absurd plan to end conflict. Let me interpret that for you, Marilyn. Zelensky is saying to Trump, please talk to me. Please talk to me. I know I've completely screwed up my war. Now, here's the problem for me. Right. Donald Trump is probably doing some pretty good stuff there. I think it's not a beautiful war. You want to change the war. Trump administration's 28-point Ukraine-Russia peace deal plan presented to Zelensky. Now, what he's done, he's sick and tired of Zelensky, who has persistently ruined his own war. Well, it's not his war. He was told to have it probably in a way because he did what he was told. That provoked Russia into invading. And then Ukraine's just unfortunately created a meat grinder for its own people. But here's the point, Marilyn, that I don't think that Zelensky gets. If you're losing, you don't get to set the terms for the peace. You get to accept the terms for the peace. If you're in a boxing ring and the other person's beating the living daylights outside of you, you don't go, oh, I'm going to give you one more chance. No, don't push me. I give you one more chance. And that's what he's doing. It's like, come on, Zelensky. Even you, a professional clown, can work out that if you've lost a third of your land area and tragically probably 2 million people, maybe you're not in the strongest position to set the terms.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's, you just have to look at. I will never forget the photos when that war first started of the dear little children, absolutely terrified with their teddy bears and their bubble hats on and getting. I mean, that will live with me because I thought, oh my God, bless them, because they are almost like they're quite Western, aren't they? They're not you know, they have a Western and the beautiful seeing the destruction. I mean, I've not been to Ukraine, but it looked like it had been the most beautiful place. Like Odessa and down there and, you know, Kyiv, beautiful architecture, and just, you're never going to get that back. But it's also the loss of life and the ripping apart of families. And I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't. I really don't. When you do the count of how many deaths that you have been party to, how do you process that?
Well,
I think I'd end up topping myself because I just don't understand it.
But the thing is that once again, Keir Starmer doesn't seem to feel it.
No,
he doesn't seem to feel it, and because he's a sociopath or something.
He's a narcissistic. He's a narcissistic, egotistic, control freak. He really is. He's got, and if you know about narcissists, they don't have emotion. He's like an abuser. He doesn't have empathy. I mean, if he had and also if he had empathy, if he had anything about him, how could you? I mean, I know I'm quite sensitive and I get hurt easily, but how can you take this constant onslaught that you are basically a numpty? No one likes you. Go and bugger off.
Okay, that's not very political. I'm not sure that's exactly how I would have put it, but I get your sentiment. I mean, basically, my problem is Donald Trump genuinely talks. He genuinely talks about the deaths.
Yes.
He goes on about the fact he doesn't like the deaths. Yeah. And then he meets people like Starmer who just doesn't feel it. No. And I think Trump genuinely does have a heart.
I think he does. I think he does. I know people don't like him, but I
like him.
I like him because he actually makes a decision and he does do things. Now, you're not going to be a leader of anything, even a head teacher of a school or the leader in John Lewis, anything. A fish rots from the head down, and that head You make decisions. You have to make decisions on the fly sometimes that are not going to be popular, but you have to still see it through because you believe that what you're doing is the right thing. That's what leadership is. You don't keep flip-flopping around going, oh, those people didn't like it. And this, oh, maybe. But it's so now transparently obvious. Whenever the heat in the kitchen gets too much for Starmer, he's on a plane.
Yeah, and he's off again now. The good thing about it is when he's G20 Africa, I think. But the good thing about it is when he's away on a Wednesday, then David Lammy does PMQs. It's great. The showcase of British democracy to the world. David Lammy, the man who thought Henry VII took over after Henry VIII died.
Truly, I rush back to actually see whenever, if I'm out and about or whatever, or I make a point, and I've never been bothered with PMQs, but it's so entertaining at times. But I just think sometimes that Kemi Badenoch, she does let them off. I mean, she both barrels at times, and she doesn't. She needs to make them squirm.
She won't, though. I've been in politics 40 years. I'm still learning. She just won't. I don't dislike her. I had higher hopes for her, actually, because she's eloquent.
Yeah,
she's obviously very well educated, but she just doesn't seem to have that leadership thing. She doesn't seem to understand how to get that killer question in.
That's absolutely spot on. That's the right expression. The killer questioning. That's the thing that really, like a barrister does. That sort of thing as well. Like really, ouch! There comes the dagger.
but going back to Zelensky and so on, he's basically going to have to take whatever Trump gives him.
Of course.
Zelensky's a busted flush, and quite literally, if you've managed to lose thousands of square kilometers of your land, if you've presided over, and I think Lauren Thornton is regular for us here on Unprecedented, to over 2 million people. That's what Lauren Thornton estimates they've lost. 18 dead Ukrainians for every dead Russian. Then you need to wake up, and it's only Trump who's talking about the deaths. And meanwhile, Zelensky keeps pretending he's going to win. Not we. I don't align with him.
I don't at all. And he's a funny little man, isn't he?
Funny little man. Yeah. He's a funny little man.
Funny little man.
It doesn't make me laugh anymore. It didn't make me laugh when he used to play the piano with his personal part. That was his party piece. It's on television. You can actually find it on YouTube.
I'll have a look on YouTube.
Well, don't do it before the watershed. But okay, go on.
I don't understand how you can put that horrific loss of life, young dads, old grannies, what have you, and think this is all about a piece of land. Does it really matter? Truly, does it really matter? Let people live in harmony and peace. Give it up and get on with your life and stop killing people.
They're almost neighbors, to be honest with you. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
And they're very close relatives, Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
And it's tragic, when you see just the relentless killing fields of Ukraine. Now, people say, it's all Putin's fault. No, we actually lied to Putin. In 1990, James Baker told, he was American Secretary of State, I think. He said to Gorbachev, who's in charge of, who basically was doing Putin's job at the time, he basically said, not 1 inch to the east. And he said, we're not going to take advantage of the dismantling of Soviet Union, but they lied. And Putin said, don't do this. But they carried on lying. Don't do this. They carried on lying. Oliver Stone made a film about this about a decade ago, saying what was happening and what was going to happen. And it's happened. You can't pretend to be surprised. And this is the problem. And it's just carnage out there. And Putin doesn't have to be in a hurry. Putin said, I'll stop the fighting if you give me what I want. And if you don't give me what I want, I'll just take it. And that's where we are. That's why Putin's not under any great pressure. It is all on Zelensky and his stupid Western paymasters. And then there's the corruption.
And some. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just, it's all these young people that are just, they're putting on a uniform and they're just cannon fodder, aren't they? What is it? Some of these young men are, their lifespan is going to be 2 weeks or something after they've gone on the front line, if they're lucky. And these are someone's sons and dads and brothers, and it's just, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I do agree with you, people. I do think that, I mean, no, Trump is not perfect. Who is? None of us are. But I do think that he has a genuine hatred of war. I really do.
Yeah, I do.
I really do.
He's religious, and I like that.
He's what? Sorry?
He's got faith. He's got faith.
Yes.
Make an atheist, but that's like bragging about the fact you believe in nothing. You believe in the pointlessness of the universe. That's my view. Viewers will maybe disagree. Stephen Fry has
I
a
said
different
to you
view.
the other day, you might not have heard me say it or remember me saying it, as a whole of society has become too secular. You know, we're made mind, body and spirit, and so many people have become so self-obsessed, and it's all me, I matter, what I want, I'm going to have, I. It's I-itis, and they've lost that spiritual part of life, which is so important. But then I have to say, where are the spiritual faith leaders? Nowhere to be seen. They don't come out, they're not leading their flock, you know, they're not.
They've had their own problems.
You know, well, they create their own problems, don't they? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, changing the subject completely. I mean, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the new one. Oh my life! You know,
I don't know enough to make a comment on that, but I do know something which is something of a miracle. It is quite an interesting one. In the year 2000, Dr. David Viner. I don't know if you've actually got the quote. Have you got the quote? Dr. David Viner, who worked at the University of here it is. Thank you. At the end of snow, 13 years on. In 2000, the British newspaper The Independent ran an article about the end of snow, quoting one of the world's more prominent climate scientists, and I quote, this is Dr. David Viner, right? According to Dr. David Viner, a senior research scientist at the Climatic Research Unit of the University of East Anglia. For those of you in East Anglia, I'll say that again. At the University of East Anglia, within a few years, I don't know why, but I think he probably talks like Keir Starmer. Within a few years, come on. Within a few years, winter snowfall will become a very rare and exciting event. Or maybe it's more like Ed Miliband. Children are literally not going to know what snow is. And he said that. He said, children aren't going to know what snow is. I hope he said it like that. Children just aren't going to know what snow is. You never see David Viner and Ed Miliband in a room at the same time. It snowed here 2 days ago. I was scraping the ice off the car this morning.
I was literally walking the dog the other morning, 7 a.m, walking through a horizontal snow blizzard. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
It's just great. This is weather. This is weather rather than climate. The difference is weather is what happens day to day. Climate's long term. But he made the prediction. From the discredited University of East Anglia Climatic Research Unit. He made that prediction. Science is about predictions. This was taken a few days ago. I think the children who live there know what snow is. My kids know what snow is because we were playing with it 2 days ago.
Exactly.
Dr. David Viner summarizes the entire complete farce, in my view, of the climate movement. Of course, while it's shivering over here, they're all sitting over in Brazil saying, how are we going to cool it down? I'm not sure the people in that looks like Yorkshire somewhere wanting to be much cooler than that.
It's awful in Yorkshire. It's really bad. I was watching it yesterday, these vans and everything getting stuck. Because also the problem that you've got is a lot of the councils are not gritting the roads that are the difficult ones, which are the side roads that get onto the motorways, yeah? And this is because, of course, we haven't got the money. So the roads this time round are even more lethal because the councils have not they've not invested in buying the grit because, and it's like the potholes, isn't it? You see? And
but there is no snow. Dr. David Viner. So there's no snow. Can you see any snow in that picture?
No, it's just white.
This isn't. There can't be any. Because Dr. David Viner, where are you now? Well, David Viner said our children, this is in 2000, our children would know snow. Our grown-up children who have got children know snow, and their children know snow. They're just not going to know what snow is.
Who was it the other day who said that we wouldn't have any oxygen or something? Who was it we were talking about?
Yes. It was Chris Packham.
That's it.
Chris Packham said we wouldn't be able to breathe. He said it on Friday. I saw him say it.
Yeah.
When we can't breathe anymore. I mean, why is he allowed to even say that? He pretty much works for the BBC and he's allowed to give this utter tosh.
Well, there you are. It's because he works for the BBC. There's another program going on, isn't there? BBC. I mean, I don't know. It is Trump. He still says he's going to sue them, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and will that be the end? Will that be the end of them?
No. Well, I don't know. Do you think they'll lose the TV license?
Well, I never watch BBC. I don't see why I should pay the license anyway.
You certainly get all your news from here, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
One more story for you. And it's a challenge, and 0 out of 12 is an acceptable result. How many of these people can you recognize?
Oh, none of them. Oh, you've got to be in there, haven't you?
No, that's this year's lot.
I can't see them properly. I'll tell you why I can't see them, because my glasses, I've got to get some new glasses. I was out yesterday and the lenses just dropped out of my glasses.
Tell them you're an asylum seeker. You get a free eye test too.
I can't.
And a taxi.
And I probably wouldn't know who they are anyway. I'm not.
You'll never guess, right? Just on the glasses point, you'll never guess who I bumped into in Specsavers yesterday. Everybody.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going back there anymore. I've never had a pair of glasses from them that have not broken, and so I'm going to go to a proper optician now.
Are you sure it was Specsavers?
I'm not going in there anymore. I'm not using them anymore. I'm sorry.
If you didn't have glasses on, maybe you're in B&Q.
Well, this is it.
Square eyes.
I don't know, who is it in there. I never know.
Well, the two I know of are Ruby Wax, who I recognize, and Kelly Brooke. I'm not sure she's actually in that picture. I don't know what she looks like. I know what she used to look like. But I don't know most of them. They're just, when I was there in 2010, we had real celebrities. Not now.
I don't know how.
There were real celebrities and me.
I don't know how you did it. I really don't. I want to vomit when I see people eating things and going into things where creepy crawlies are all over you, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, how long are you in it for?
I was in 16 days. It was quite good. 16 out of 23. It wasn't bad, actually. I wasn't first out. I was third out, I think. I did quite enjoy it. But I like camping. I just enjoy camping. And I got to know some very good people there. Linford Christie. I liked him. Yeah. Cheryl Gascoigne.
Yes.
Really lovely woman. Just a decent human being. And some not so nice people. Nigel Havers, not my favorite person. Disappointing.
Really?
He was incredibly rude about me and thought I was deranged. Maybe he's right, but he said it on television when I wasn't looking. And then I was canvassing when I was still involved in politics just after I came out of the jungle. And I was down in somewhere like Putney, some posh place. This man opened the door and said, "I'm awfully sorry." I said, "It's okay. You don't have to vote for my party." He said, "No, I'm awfully sorry. I'm Nigel Havers' agent. I don't know what came over him." That's what he said. Yes. But Sean Ryder, he was absolute legend from a band called Happy Mondays. They were big a long time ago. Anyway, I don't know most of these people either. But would you go if you were asked?
No.
Why not?
I just couldn't do it. I honestly couldn't do it. I don't know how.
I did it well.
It's it's the things that you have to do, and putting yourself and trying to climb out of some cage with spiders and bits all over you.
I've still got a scar on this hand. I was the first person to be bitten by a snake in the history of the show.
No.
And only one of two. The other one was Sean Ryder, but got bitten by the same snake. I've still got a scar. Where's the badge of honor?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't do it. I just find it, actually, I really do find it quite revolting to look at.
Yes, well, it was, once again, I went in there because I didn't really think it through. But now, this is what they've got. I would have thought I could be in the best of the worst rerun. But now, at least some people know who I am. Look, there we go. Anyway, how can people find out more about your charity and what's it do?
Oh, well, trying to prevent children from harm, basically. And, I'm very passionate about that it's their absolute right to be protected from harm. And the only people that can do that are adults. And wouldn't it be lovely if adults actually woke up and smelled the coffee? We all know someone who's abusing kids. We all know a child who is being abused. And people just it's the elephant in the room. I can turn the aircon on if I go to a party or anything, and people say, what do you do? What do you do? And I try not to tell them, and then they get it out of you. And I'll just go and get you a drink, and then they don't come back.
Yeah.
So it's freedom from abuse. And we go, I go around schools. I do I teach, like, I call it triangulated education. So if you've got the parent, the school, and the child all on the same page, all learning the same stuff, then you can work together. And that's not what happens now. People don't, you know, it's like a stool, a three-legged stool. If you take one of those legs off, the whole thing falls over.
Yeah.
And I've seen a huge difference in parents from when I was teaching. You know, parents would work with you, you know, they'd work with the school to get better outcomes for the child. And now it's like, it's your fault, you know, your fault. I can't control my child on the phone, on the mobile phone. Well, why did you buy them one then? And I would say to anybody now, you've got Christmas coming up, for goodness sake, don't buy your child an iPhone. I mean, I'm now going into talk to children who are 6 years old who have been given iPhones, smartphones. It's crazy.
Wouldn't tolerate it. Yeah.
It's crazy. But also it's like the person that's in the room, you are still more likely to be abused by someone you know. And you think at Christmas, you haven't got enough chairs at Christmas, whatever. And, you know, a dirty old man uncle of yours that you know, come and sit on my lap, you know, no. And how many people actually insist that their child kisses goodbye to someone? Why? Why?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why people, I've never understood why people make their children kiss granny.
Well, it should be naive intimacy, really. But I think things have changed, maybe. But we're not going to go down that path any further now. We always end up talking about that, and for a good cause. Thank you so much. That is the Chief Executive Officer of Freedom from Abuse, Marilyn Hawes, opinionated, and that's why we have her. I do have your say as well. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. Actually, just let me just have a quick check before we go. I have to look at another screen. They've put them up here. What people are saying. Let's just see. This format is ridiculous. I can't watch this. I'll have to see what the format is. There's Trump is another one. And Christy reposted the stream. I need to know what you don't like about the format, Paul. I have to check that. I do apologize. I'm not sure if you mean the content or the format, but, you know, do give me the feedback and I'll appreciate it. I'll try and follow it up afterwards. Anyway, thanks very much. Lots of other shows on today as well. I'm Lembit and Marilyn. That was Lembit and Marilyn live on Unprecedented TV.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages.